some
it's
problems.
also the fact that they were all physical damage team.
Yeah.
And usually you don't expect Ezreal to be that high of a damage dealer, but because Reckles was so strong that game and N-rated was hitting all of his hooks, they were able to take that.
I was just going to ask if we're going to see a Blitzcrank ban, and I'm not surprised at all on that. But then again, I think that's actually going to open up Zyra for Fnatic. I don't think they're going to MYM's going to first pick Zyra, but I wouldn't put it past Fnatic to maybe.
Well, honestly, Fnatic might have to ban it because they do have to wonder whether or not MYM would first pick it, but they actually banned Rengar.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they would first pick it, but we'll see. I mean, Shen is open right now.
Yeah,
and
that's
Shen
kind
is,
of the concern, is that if they first pick the Zyra, they're giving up Shen and Orianna.
Ezreal also is open. Oh, okay, so Aurelia first pick. Interesting choice.
And so it kind of takes out that issue because now they first pick Aurelia. They really like that champion in the top lane. It worked out well for them the first game, but then also what it does is it kind of protects them where there's like 3 or 4 really strong champions, and so instead of leaving up just Zyra and Shen, which is probably going to be the champions that Fnatic's going to pick here. Instead of leaving up just those 2 champions, there's also Ezreal available. There's Sona. There's Orianna.
Yeah.
So come around their next picks, Ezreal's being taken by Fnatic. So now they have the options where they can take the Orianna. That they'll probably be pretty comfortable with.
Yeah, I was actually expecting Corki, because Corki and Ezreal are the 2 champions, the 2 AD carry champions that do relatively well against Zyra because of their mobility. And Graves doesn't do as well because of the short distance on his E, but Corki, on the other hand, can do a pretty good job. So I feel like Corki is the obvious choice when facing against Zyra. So it should be interesting to see what support they pick.
They go with
go
TF, which is, so they've already picked their top and their mid lane.
Yeah.
Like, Fnatic, essentially, they know exactly what MYM is doing as a team. Like, there's no surprises. They know that they're, sending Aurelia in the top lane. That's going to be a very safe top lane. Fnatic might pick Jax to go against that. They might go with the Elise as well. I'm curious what they think of the Elise versus the Aurelia matchup. Because, Elise should do better in that matchup. I mean, they still have to worry that Aurelia's just going to dive onto Elise and maybe win that. But they have to wonder what they're going to run against TF. And what's one of XPK's best champions? Ahri. What's one of the best champions to play against TF? Ahri.
Yeah.
They're actually not going to run it. Maybe they're maybe just going to go with the Yorick again and then Elise top. We'll have to see. It could be a Yorick top and then like an Ahri mid.
I didn't think the Yorick mid did all that great, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Yorick just go back top.
I would think it would do very well against TF though.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Because TF is just so squishy. Yorick just chases him down in lane, just constantly throwing that harass, and he doesn't quite have the range that Orianna has.
Right, the short range Yorick's gonna be able to trade pretty well there, and good sustain from Yorick. So actually, I wouldn't be that could definitely happen. And
we'll have to
see
see.
Right here.
It's coming down to the last pick. So it would essentially be the same team as last game, except instead of Blitzcrank, go with the Zyra. So that would give them slightly more kiting capabilities, but not the same insta-kill capabilities that Blitzcrank had. So we'll see if they go for it. I think they will, but they have to be questioning right now. All right, MYM, they know we have our same team comp. They picked this team to kind of work around it. What about MYM's team is going to beat us? The lockdown from Aurelia and TF could be kind of a concern. Maokai as well. They have a lot more CC than crowd control than last game. They have the Sona, so if they get a strong fight, they can just completely shut down all of MYM. Now
that Maokai's picked, I wouldn't be surprised if Yorick goes top and they pick a mid with a little bit more mobility because of the insane lockdown that Maokai and TF bring. But no. Here comes Jace. Didn't even get to finish my sentence before I was wrong.
Before you were backhanded by Soaz.
Feels good.
So Soaz is going to be playing Jace, and I mean that's one of his strongest champions. We've talked about it before, how it was one of the first picks that he was one of the first people that we had seen playing Jace competitively. So that's definitely going to be interesting. It doesn't have the same Baron potential that Elise did, but honestly, you don't usually build a game around Baron. Jace, he's such a strong champion right now. He has great poke in lane. That's going to be a pretty even matchup, Aurelia versus Jace, but later on, he's going to try and just wear people down. They want these long fights that just last a long time and allow Jace and Ezreal to poke in. So it's kind of a poke team. They can poke in with Zyra as well to try and pick up kills. But we'll see what they can do against the TF, because TF and Maokai, it's a really scary combo. They can really get kills really quickly.
Yeah, it's really, really scary. So much CC. I don't know. The bot lane dynamic's going to be pretty interesting, I think. I mean, the thing with Zyra when you're playing against Zona is, you're trying to get in and do some harass, but one misstep and you're going to eat a bunch of damage. And it works for both teams. If you get out of position, you're going to eat a bunch of damage. And I mean, that's generally how bot lane works, but even more so because of how fragile Zyra and Sona are. It really comes down to so much who can get the first hit and who can avoid the other person's auto attacks and skill shots and that kind of thing. So bot lane's going to be very volatile. I think it's going to be really quick kills, and we're going to be looking other places in the map, and then we're going to see, oh my god, bot lane's dead again. What the heck happened? I wouldn't be surprised if that would happen.
Well, we'll see what they do. Taking a look at some of the masteries, runes of masteries real quick. Zaru running movement speed, so a little bit of ability power, but some defense as well. So kind of standard, what you kind of expect from TF, 21 and 0 and 9. So, I don't know, basically a standard page. I honestly don't expect anything that unusual from any of these guys. Soaz is running the teleport, though, so he can split push Jace, and Jace is definitely a really strong split push champion. If he gets an early advantage over Aurelia, then that could really put a lot of pressure onto MYM because he has the teleport and he can just constantly barrel down those turrets. 21, 8, and 1, actually taking the improved teleport, so he gets a little bit of a faster casting time.
Interesting.
So that really is strong. I mean, it allows you to get in fights quickly. When you want to teleport into a fight, he misses out on the HP bonus from the defensive tree, but it's a nice trade-off for him. And we'll kind of see what they can do. But
how does Aurelia do against Jace? I've heard actually that Aurelia does fairly well. One of the few champions that does.
Well, and again, it's an even matchup. It's a skilled matchup. It is fairly even. Jace doesn't really have the damage to take down Aurelia after his nerfs. So Aurelia will be able to just heal against him and be pretty safe in there. But Jace isn't going to be that threatened by Aurelia as well. So Aurelia can get the stun in, and that'll set up Maokai and TF. That's really going to be the threat for Jace, not the Aurelia. It's going to be an even matchup between the two of them. Both of them are going to farm effectively. But it's going to come down to mostly what the jungle pressure is and what the pressure out of the mid lane is. And if TF is able to roam, then that's going to be devastating. But that really depends on how much pressure XPK can put on the mid lane. Mm-hmm. How successful he can do against TF to try and wear him down before he teleports so he's not comfortable, he's a little bit low, or just constantly keep him pressed against his tower where he can't do anything.
Yeah, and that global presence of TF is always scary. But again, I mean, the range is so low on him that when you move into the late game, if he didn't have a phenomenal laning phase, or at least somewhat decent, he really falls off hard. So I expect a lot of pressure coming out of TF. Zaru needs to be able to make some awesome ultimates. And I think it'll happen with the combination of the Maokai. They can really gank any lane and just shut it down with that combination.
We'll see what they can do. Coming into game number 3, Fnatic versus MYM. Fnatic, I mean, they have almost the exact same team that they had as the last game. Sona is very weak against those aggressive supports because of how squishy she is. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what what Libik can do in the bottom lane to try and not die against N-rated, because N-rated, he's just going to be putting on a lot of pressure. And that Ezreal, if Rekkles can get off to a good start like he did in the last game, he could just take control of this game. So we'll have to see. Both junglers, can be aggressive. Cho'Gath has a slight jungling speed advantage, but nothing really that special there. Maokai's a little bit stronger with ganks, so switching it up for the Maokai to really put on that lane pressure. We'll see what they can do with it.
Yeah, I didn't think Cho'Gath did all that great of a job for.
It was very passive.
Yeah, it was very passive. So we'll see how Fnatic uses Cho'Gath this game.
But that's what you expect from the Cho'Gath. He was able to control lanes.
I mean, he is a passive passive jungler. It's really about getting that early oracles and just going around and putting that perceived aggression onto the lanes. And
then in team fights, he gives them a little bit more kiting potential. He gives them, that tanky frontline body to
you can
allow the rest of his team to poke.
Yeah, absolutely, and absorb some of those cooldowns that the team might want to use trying to poke down the team. That same reason is why he's so popular right now, because he's just a really safe pick. You play slow in the beginning, you just build up those stacks, and eventually get to a point where he's so big that you just can't kill him, and he gets to sit there and absorb all that damage, take it away from the other champions on the team, and just lay down that CC.
So we're into it. Fnatic, level 1, they have a very strong level 1 team. The level 1 for MYM, it's okay, but it's definitely at a disadvantage. Maokai's pretty weak early on. He's not going to want to have to get his Twisted Advance. He could get his Q, so his Q is pretty strong, level 1. but we'll see what they do. So Fnatic kind of moving in. They have great poke, so it'd be kind of scary. I'm curious whether they're not going to try and fight this in MYM, just going right for it. They're coming right up. Yorick in the top lane. He should be able to get out of there. We'll see if we see a fast twisted advance or anything like that. Magi is not going to go for it, but they're going for the quick invade. I think maybe they were expecting Fnatic to go for their blue, and they just decide if they go for their red and be proactive, then they'll pull ahead.
Yeah, and Reckl's just laying down some poke, doing what Ezreal does best, and just playing it safe, sitting back. And I mean, it looks like they might want to try to fight this. I mean, like you said, Fnatic's level 1 is pretty decent, and they all are grouped now. They all are there, so...
Fnatic's around them, though. They might try and get them when they're going back. They're going in. Cyanide, he does see them. There's the snare. Kuban very low. Ezreal poking in. They do back off for a moment. So just getting some quick poke. They don't have that much burst, but there it is, the acceleration gate. Libic almost going down, and N-rated actually is going to be the first blood. He does go down. Corki gets the kill, and so MYM wins the exchange. But if they can turn it around, everyone is very low on MYM right now.
The gold card going down on York, forcing that flash. XPK just gets out of there. Oh, they're trying to do some damage to Mackler. Oh, and Mackler has to flash out, and the chase and the pursuit. Ezreal getting really low too, popping the pot, trying to get some health. This is a really long level 1 fight as MYM is going to get out of there. Red card ready on TF.
And just the spammable red cards, or the spammable stuns, are helping them out. Zaru very close to picking up another kill. Can't quite get in range.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone using the summoners. Ezreal wants to get another kill. If he can get this over Magi's, he is going for it. One more attack, one more Q. He can barely not grab it, but Magi's does back off, and so that really slows down Maokai a lot. It is a 1-0 advantage for MYM. The kill did go into Corki, so they have to watch out for that, but Maokai is really far behind. Cho'Gath does better without the leashes and does better from behind than Maokai does. And not only that, but they have the Jace, so they go for the lane swap. And that's one of Jace's biggest strengths, is going for that lane swap. So Aurelia is in a really dangerous spot right now.
Yeah, Jace's ability to sit back and poke and lay down some damage and farm is really, really strong. One of the biggest strengths of the champion, aside from maybe just how diverse his skill kit is. He just has a ridiculous amount of different abilities. But yeah, just sitting back and farming, and Corki just trying to sneak around, trying to do some damage. Oh, look at the burst from Jace. He's just going to be able to do some damage and get out of there. Taking the Ignite, making him blow that down, and then just kind of sticking around, just hanging out. Corki really low. Not the safest for either of those champions right now.
Yeah, really close to picking it up, but now the heal from Sona is going to win that lane. So even though you almost grabbed Mackler there,
yeah,
you know, it wasn't enough. And the early longsword for Corki should be able to win that. Cho'Gath is coming down, trying to put some pressure. Maokai did get a good start because Aurelia actually was able to pull for him because he's going to be pushed back anyway. The Rupture going to be coming any second now. There's the Valkyrie, the acceleration gate. They're very close to picking up Libic. He has to dive back, but there's the knock into the wall. Libic very close to going down. He will, but can Corki turn this around? Soaz is very low, but he backs off at the last second. So a kill going down bot. It is actually onto Jace, so that really helps them out in that bot lane.
Yeah, Corki really almost had some serious damage there. I mean, that's one of the problems when you go after the support, is the AD carry is allowed to just stay there safely and just sit there and auto attack you and you know, use all of his abilities, and that's what he did, and it almost took out Jace, which would have been just devastating. But actually now it's just Corki by himself for a little bit, allowing Jace to have, you know, a little bit more room to farm, to be able to build that up, get his levels up.
And Aurelia is actually in an okay situation because a lot of times in that 2v1, you actually expect to see a level 2 or level 3 gank right when this wave pushes in and before Aurelia can get all that farm. But because Cho'Gath was bot, Aurelia knows that she has a nice little moment's respite. Maokai coming in though, gets the stun, or gets the slow, gets the twisted advance, the stun with the follow-up. XPK very low. He might actually go down the one last attack, no ignite to follow up, so they do back off. And he does have to get out of there. But so far, XPK has actually been winning that mid lane because of the harass on the TF that we were kind of expecting.
Yeah, and nice of Maokai to go out, not just twisted advance right onto him, but go out and Q first. Oh my gosh, and that burst damage, he dodges the Rupture, and is he going to get out of there? I cannot believe that. Awesome job from Zaru, just not dying. Juke. Yeah, great juke, and you know, usually in that situation where they have to actually go back towards the opponent, you figure they're dead no matter what.
And Cho'Gath forced the flash as well. I mean, he flashed himself to try and get that Rupture, and wasn't able to land it. So really impressive play by TF to get out of there, even with the delay on the Cho'Gath. So, or the fact that the Cho'Gath Rupture, you know, was buffed not that long ago. So it's a pretty short period of time that you have to dodge.
Yeah.
But really quick reaction time.
Yeah, really good. And top lane just doing the 2v1 thing, you know, forcing your opponent out of lane and just pushing really hard, trying to take that tower early so you can switch back and take another tower. But
it's actually low enough that Kuban, the next time he gets a Blade Surge, could almost go in for that. So that he has to watch out. They're all very low. TF being chased down once again. The slows. Soaz and Cyanide chasing him down. He's going to get the stun, but he can't kite this long enough. He's going to turn around. How much can he get? The ward does drop, and so he's actually going to try and deny himself. Maokai, in the meantime, coming in the top, and there's the threat of Aurelia. Gets that kill. Enrated is going to go down. TF just going down in between the turrets, and Reckles is in a dangerous spot as well. If Kuban can get another Blade Surge, they should be able to pick this up. He's very low. Forces the flash. The flash from Medjai's. He's going to go for this kill underneath the turret. There it is. Kuban gets it. So 2 kills up in that top lane. Really nice play from MYM.
Yeah, we're really seeing the strong ganks out of Maokai and how much of an effect they can have on the game. And really put Aurelia in a good position. Aurelia just does a lot of damage, and so, you know, getting caught out as Zyra, someone who has very little life, you're going to go down pretty quick in that situation. And, I mean, thank goodness that gank worked out. Medjai was able to capitalize on that, because he would have been down a lot of summoners and wouldn't be in the greatest place.
And so far, Fnatic is in a dangerous spot in the bot lane because Soaz being pressured. So they're actually losing both of the 1v2 matchups you know, because of the quick burst damage that Aurelia has. That really worked out well for them, comboed with that Maokai. And then Jace is being pressured some in the bottom. So we'll see if they can, if MYM can actually push this tower, or if they decide to take it. Soaz, he can clear out a lot of those minion waves, get some quick damage over the wall. So getting the acceleration gate. But the heal from Sona is just a little bit too strong in that lane. He can't stand up against it. So, you know, if MYM pulls ahead with the lane swap, that could really hurt them, or hurt Fnatic, considering that MYM can just keep on pushing these lanes to like the second turret and then use TF's roaming capabilities to pick up some kills.
Yeah, the sustain at this point in the game for Sona is really strong. You know, you usually max Q with her first, getting heal second. So, you know, when you get into level 6, 7, 8, the heal isn't as effective. But right now, where you're level 1, or you have level 1 heal, but you're only level 4 and very little life, it actually does a lot. It makes a big difference in the lane. But yeah, MYM just pushing really hard. It looks like they're, I mean, 3 there, and they're gonna be able to get the tower. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, and Jace teleports back. Nice.
And there's the strength of the teleport in that 1v2, so he is going to be in a great situation to try and defend this, but it looks like they're actually going for it. Corki's a little bit low though, Soaz might go for this, but I think they're trying to bait because of the Maokai. So Cho'Gath's coming down as well, Soaz can get some quick damage. Hopefully they don't bait a little bit too hard, because it is going to be a concern. There he goes, he gets the engage, the flash over the wall, or the flash over Corki to get that knockback, and Cho will help him out here, but it turns out in favor of MYM, so the flash being down for Soaz. The heal is down for Corki, but the flash is still up. So MYM can just keep on pushing, putting on that pressure, and TF is actually coming down as well.
TF looking to just farm some more from what it looks like, but yeah, is TF level 6 yet? Because I'm expecting to see some really aggressive play out of him pretty soon. Continuing
level
to just
6,
farm
but
up.
a little bit low.
Yeah, a little bit low. So I mean, but now it's a possibility. Now we get to see some action, and that's what I want. Oh, meanwhile, Sona a little bit out of position. This is the power of Jace. If you get out of position, you're just going to get chunked down really hard. And with those Sona changes, you're not going to want to risk anything. You don't have enough armor to be able to go up against Jace. You don't have enough armor to make any mistakes against Jace. And if you do, he can knock you in the wrong direction and kill you. So Sona's going to need to play safe until Corki gets back to help her out.
And Kuban's still kind of in a dangerous spot here,
nice.
because Nrated's doing a really nice job of zoning him. So, you know, just keeping up the pressure in that top lane, not allowing him to get in and farm effectively. And so far, you see, even with those kills, there is a slight CS advantage in Fnatic's favor in the Jace versus Aurelia, because, you know, Jace can just easily farm in that ranged lane. But the kills and also the farm advantage for the AD carries is definitely a concern for them. So Corki just has so much damage in the mid game, and it's a nice mix of magic and true. So that's really going to hurt Fnatic a lot. They are pressuring the top still, but not quite as much, or not quite enough damage to take down the turret. But it's pretty low. So we'll see if they decide to take that turret shortly.
Yeah, and Reckles just freezing the lane there, not letting Aurelia have anything to do with that farm. Doesn't want him there. And then just going for the blue buff here, giving up to TF. It's going to allow him to spam a lot. And the spammy TF is really annoying. The poke is ridiculous. And it does a lot more damage than I'm used to. Like, I just get surprised by how much it does early game. And so you have to be really careful not to get hit by those wild cards, and then the red card just coming in doing that AoE damage, and bam, there you go. Just chunk them down slowly but surely. You have that blue buff. Oh, and Jace trying to make something happen. Sona there too. And
Corki able to take down the bot turret,
yeah.
But Fnatic going to back off of the mid, so not quite able to put a lot of pressure onto TF. He's able to range farm at this point with that blue buff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of taking XPK out of the equation, but XPK had a nice early lead. And MYM kind of grouping right now. So they have 4 people mid. They can go for that dragon. Fnatic is definitely out of position for this. So MYM should be able to take this pretty easily, and that'll bump them up to almost a 3K gold lead.
Yeah.
So it's about 2.5K. So they're really doing a nice job against Fnatic right now. You know, just making sure they have the lead, and that'll allow more pressure from TF. TF actually went with the mobility boots, which you don't actually see a lot, but is interesting because it allows him to get over to those lanes pretty quickly. So a lot of times you can kind of see, all right, TF left the mid lane. I have to go back and I have to play passively now. But with those mobility boots, just really quickly, he gets halfway up the river, and all of a sudden he's right on top of you, and he's trying to pressure down the top. Kuban, he can get in on this. There's the ult from Zyra trying to force it out. It just barely gets them out of there. So nice play from N-Rated to turn that around, and the TF ult is down now.
Yeah, that's a little bit scary for them. And you're right, absolutely. By the time you realize that TF is missing, he's already in your lane with those boots. So that's actually a good play from them. I've actually never seen that. Doesn't mean it's bad. I'm actually excited to see how it works out for them going into the late game.
The concern is going to be that those boots, once you're in a team fight, it's not really going to help out that much.
Yeah, I mean, I expect them to probably sell them as we enter the team phase, go with maybe that spell pen.
I wouldn't be that sure, though. I mean, because, you know, the spell shoes, the Sork shoes are a little bit more common. You know, you want that poke from TF, so he might actually sell him for that. But you see, having the mobility on both Maokai and on TF, it allows them to pick up kills very, very quickly.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so they kind of want to poke around. They want to just sit back and, you know, be very safe and not have to worry about, you know, getting worn down by Fnatic. And then all of a sudden, when Fnatic's not ready for it, MYM's going to jump in and get a kill. And that's kind of the thought of their game plan right now. They want to just be able to initiate on Fnatic very quickly. And that's going to help out throughout the game. You know, Sork shoes would definitely be stronger in team fights, but as far as picking people off is concerned, the mobility boots work.
I was wondering if this was going to be some sort of rotation, but it looks like they were just farming up, just moving around, doing some roaming. Oh my gosh. And that is a lot of damage getting laid down by Jace trying to poke. Wasn't able to finish him off, but he's going to make him think twice about face-checking a bush again anytime soon, that's for sure. And looks like he's just going to push and do a little bit of damage to this tower. No, probably not, because Maokai's here to save the day.
Yeah, so TF does have to back off, and that's hurting TF's farm a little bit. So, you know, he's falling a little bit behind. He's trying to move around. He went top, wasn't able to make anything happen there, and then he immediately went back bottom. So rather than sitting mid for a little bit. So, you know, that's kind of a difficult thing. They need to make sure that TF is still farming. They can't allow him to fall behind. He does have to flash, so as forcing, or the flash is forced from Maokai. So really nice play from Maokai there. And now TF will be able to farm in the mid again. But you see, all of MYM, they're actually very flexible right now. They're just, you know, all hopping around different lanes. XPK actually won that little battle. He was able to grab the big Wraith. But MYM, they're roaming as a team. Like, they're just moving around from lane to lane and constantly cycling. But you see, it's actually working slightly to Fnatic's favor because they're pulling ahead as far as CS are concerned.
Yeah, Jace just teleported in, so he's going to have some presence there too. And he's just going in, going ham, trying to do some damage on Sona. He's going to back out. Corki with that armor shredded, just, you got to be really careful to go in on him because he can do a lot of damage really quick. Oh, and in the top lane, just putting some pressure. But it looks like nothing crazy is happening at the moment.
Though. TF's going top. The Sona ult mid will actually help them out, but Sona does go down. They can't quite grab Reckles. TF is just too safe. So the Sona ult trying to get herself away from Yorick, but does go down. Maokai coming around the backside. XPK chasing him down. Corki's very low as well. Forces the flash off of Maokai.
Nice
hit. They weren't able to get another kill. XPK trying to get it. Jace almost grabbing that with the buster shot, but or the his Q shot, basically.
Yeah.
But really nice play from Fnatic, and Aurelia is actually able to force it again up top. They get a double kill.
Wow, incredible.
So even after they were able to back off, they were able to force another fight again.
Yeah, really good. Corki's heal is now down, so that's going to be something to consider. They're going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive on Corki, as you know, they're not going to have that extra little bit of life that's going to come with that heal. But yeah, surprising stuff out of Aurelia. Really just playing well off the jungler and off the roaming of his teammates, and able to really, I mean, just be this far ahead in that 2v1 lane. Sure, the farm is really low, but 4 kills, that's going to be a serious issue. for Fnatic. But I mean, you know, we saw this last game. We saw the top lane Bruiser getting an early advantage. We had a 4-0 Jax last game. We have a 4-0 Aurelia game. Do you think it's going to be enough to be able to win, to be able to win this thing?
Steal. Yeah, I mean, the issue is that Ezreal isn't, you know, quite as strong as he was in the last game. So it isn't anywhere near as strong as he was in the last game. He's still going for that heavy AD build. So, you know, having the 4-0 on Aurelia, you know, she's going to be able to dive onto the team pretty effectively, a little bit more effectively than Jax actually is, because of the, you know, early health that she's going to have and how tanky she can be. But the fact that they're missing out on all of that Ezreal damage could kind of hurt Fnatic a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's decently farmed, not totally great. So he has some decent items. That'd be interesting to see if he goes for the Bloodthirster first. I mean, he has the items. You know, you're caught at the cost of late game damage. You get that strong early to mid game advantage from that. So wouldn't be surprised, since he's a little bit behind, for him to make it up with that Bloodthirster. But yeah, it should be interesting to see. And then TF continuing to make plays, 1 and 2 at this point. Decent farm, floating around a lot. But the main issue for Fnatic is how they're going to beat Aurelia. And with her ability to dive into the back line, even if Ezreal does get fed, he's going to have a really hard time facing Aurelia.
But honestly, they almost don't even have to fight against MYM to take control of this game. They can just split push Jace the entire time. His teleport is down right now, but he's going to be able to push down towers pretty effectively. He hasn't really been able to get much of a push. They were able to take down that top, but MYM's constantly forcing these fights. There's the knockback. Najai's trying to chase down Fnatic Soaz, but he's not in a great situation. Aurelia diving on. There's the TF coming in as well. They could maybe chase this up, but TF actually porting onto Soaz, trying to get the kill there, is very low. So MYM in a great situation to take down this Baron, or this Dragon. Ezreal coming in, but he's split. So it is a 5v4, and everyone's kind of low on Fnatic.
Yeah, and looks like they're just going to back off, play it safe. Fnatic just poking him down really well. The Ezreal ult comes in, does some damage. Sona trying to poke down with her Q and her power cord. But it's looking a little bit risky for them at this point. They are pretty low. The
Jace shots just slowly winning it for Fnatic. So they have the tanky front line with Corki, or with Cho'Gath and Yorick, and they're able to just slowly wear down MYM. And so MYM, they have to back off, even though they had a slight advantage in the beginning. You know, if a Rupture had landed on TF or something like that, then Fnatic would be in a great situation to go in. But Fnatic, they have them out of position, and now it's kind of a base race situation. And this could turn into kind of a full base race for an inhibitor, because this is always an awkward situation when one team goes for a side turret and the other team goes for a mid turret, because you don't want to give up anything for free. But MYM, they just realize they have to go back. So they're going back. They're going to try and defend this, but there's going to be a base turret. It's going to be down as well. They just stop. They're going to push it. So the only person back, it's actually 3 people are back. So it's a 2 versus 5v3. So two people down bottom for MYM. Fnatic's going to be able to grab this inhibitor, so the inhibitor is going to go down. And I don't think that MYM is going to be able to take the same, because they decided to push this. So it was only a half base race. MYM, they kind of lost their nerve in that situation, but they are going for that base turret. They just can't take it fast enough. So the question is, can the rest of MYM stall long enough? Zaru has a lot of damage. They're trying to grab it while the rest of the team is chasing. They're not allowing Fnatic to recall, and they're very close to taking this inhibitor, but the concern is then that they get caught out of position. Fnatic is closing in quickly. They're trying to see if they can get in. Cyanide is there. TF, he's going to have to pour it out. He leaves Corki behind. Can Corki finish it off? It is very close. Cyanide with the slow. He can hit that Rupture as well. The Jace shots. Magler, he gets
he's
the
not going to get
over.
it.
He's so close, like 2 more shots. Can't pick it up, but they get the Dragon as well. So the mid inhibitor is down. Fnatic winning that exchange. Sona ultimate, trying to save it. XPK picks up the kill. The Ezreal ult coming in as well, and XPK is going to back off, but not before Kuban takes him down first. So they get the Dragon. They have a 1-for-1 exchange. If Fnatic can pick someone up here, though, that could be it. If they can grab another person, then that could allow them to take a Baron or something right now.
Yeah, really good play from MYM, knowing that they're all going to go and try to get Corki. And Jace porting in, trying to do some damage, but TF is right there with that gold card stunning. And the Twisted Advance, it's going to lock him down just long enough. Jace there trying to poke down, but the minions just march on in, and there's not a whole lot that MYM can do about it. I mean, they're going to have to stay in base and kind of just sit tight, while at the same time, Fnatic can go out and start taking objectives. And honestly, that's what happens when you have that lead.
Those are always my kind of favorite situations, is when you have those split base races, because it forces, both teams are kind of forced into a no-win situation. So what happens is, the first team that goes mid, and that's why teams a lot of times you don't go for those side pushes, because if your opponent doesn't match you, if Fnatic, like if MYM goes for that side push, sometimes Fnatic will go and try and defend that lane. But if the opponent doesn't go and defend the lane and they just decide to push mid, then what happens is the team that's on the side tends to lose that situation because the mid is more valuable than the side.
Yeah.
And also you don't have time because you have 10 seconds to recall, so you're automatically going to fall behind. So the team that's going mid, they can just decide to bash right into your base and take that down. Honestly, if TF had just waited a couple more seconds and ulted slightly later, I think they would have taken that inhibitor though, and that would have been a safe investment for them. That would have been a safe turnaround.
Yeah, but it didn't work out, unfortunately, and now Fnatic, not seeing any wards, is just rushing this Baron, and MYM is going to be a little bit late to the party. It's going down pretty quick. But let's see if they can make anything happen. The Twisted Advance could come out from Maokai and then try to smite it, and looks like Fnatic is backing out, trying to force the fight instead.
They're all split. Corki's back. TF was on the backside. He had to port in behind. XPK tries to get the slow. If he gets the slow onto TF, that will be it. The J shot, it hits him. He has to force the flash. He's very low. He does back off. In the meantime, Corki's actually able to come in behind and take down Zyra, but TF is still being pursued. Soaz will be able to grab that kill. Maokai's very close to going down as well. The Rupture does hit the Ezreal ult. Kuban trying to get in there, but the red buff, it's just too much. The Sona ultimate, it is perfect and almost takes down Ezreal. He barely backs out of there, and he has the York ultimate onto him. They are able to grab Corki as well.
Oh my gosh.
So there's the double kill, and it was as if a million voices just cried out and were suddenly silenced. MYM, 4 of them go down for 1 of Fnatic. Fnatic is still very low, but they're pushing in. They have the super minion here as well. They can go for this Nexus.
Can Aurelia stay and defend this giant push coming out of Fnatic? I don't think so. It's going down really quickly. This might be the end of the game right here. Great play out of MYM, but it was not enough. Fnatic comes through, really dives in, trying to make something happen, but here comes Maokai just spawning and trying to make something happen with that ultimate, doing a lot of damage, but is it going to be enough?
XPK goes down, the rest of them are so low, they have to back off. Soaz, the slow from Maokai, he's going to be able to get another Twisted Advance, so they're at the very least going to grab Soaz. There's the Twisted Advance, they're going to be able to pick up that kill. Now they can actually turn this into a Baron.
Yeah.
So the Nexus is almost down. Both Nexus turrets are down, but they're in a great situation. 2 members are down for Fnatic, so they can actually go up, maybe take the inhibitor, maybe go after the Baron. We'll see what they end up doing. They need to take something, though. They can't allow them to have just gotten, received 2 deaths for nothing, but they back off, and Corki is splitting off the bottom. So Corki defending the bot lane, but honestly, not being with this team, it's preventing them from taking an objective that they probably need to take right now.
Yeah, I think he probably feels a little bit under-farmed at this point in the game. We saw how he was in that team fight. I thought he was going to be doing a lot more damage than he was. With that Sona ultimate, hopefully getting some ults off, doing more damage, but he just got burned down really quick. A little bit more gold, a little bit more damage. That fight might have went a different way. So we'll see how he responds to that. But yeah, you're right. He's bot lane. Baron is for the taking. They're in a great position, but they're not going to be able to do it without him there. And in fact, the 3v4, is that what it is right now? A 3v4?
It is a 3v4.
Is still pretty strong from Fnatic. They have the ultimate from Zyra. Actually, the ult is
and Fnatic also knows
about to be up,
that Ezreal can maybe do a little stealth recon mission.
Yeah.
And just go into the back of the base. And I think that's partially what is holding staying MYM's hand right now.
Yeah.
They're maybe a little bit concerned. Corki's not with them, so clearly they can't do the Baron without Corki. But maybe they were a little bit concerned that even if they did go for the Baron, they wouldn't kill it fast enough. Maybe someone would go into their base. That's something that is a serious threat. If they decide to go for any objectives, they try and push a turret or an inhibitor or something, then maybe Jace teleports
into a ward or something. We've seen that a lot lately.
Comes in behind, and then Zyra and Cho, they can stall forever.
Yeah.
So if MYM's sitting there, they're trying to recall. They're like, let us out of here. We want to go back and defend our base. Then Zyra just keeps on poking and says, no, that's not going to happen.
Not today. Yeah, definitely. Cho'Gath can really just dive into a team and try to keep them all from backing and can still live from it. So it's going to be a little bit difficult in that regard. But I'll be interested to see how MYM comes back from this if they're able to. I think the teleport on Soaz is a serious threat that they have to consider. They're not going to be able to spend too much time out of base.
Well, fortunately, there's no ward in there right now.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
They don't know that.
They don't.
Because they don't have an Oracle. So, one off of the Nexus. I think the Nexus gives vision. I don't remember exactly, but they do back off, so not enough time to press anything. And actually, it probably wasn't enough time anyway.
Yeah.
To go after any objectives. So they get the pushback, and at least getting those kills it stalls off Fnatic for a little bit. It's going to allow that inhibitor respawn, like it just does, and they will be able to stall a little bit. So having that inhibitor up, it protects their Nexus some.
Yeah.
They don't quite have to worry about the backdoor, but Fnatic's in a situation where they can pressure that Baron and split push Jace, and so that's exactly what they're going to do. Jace is coming down to the bottom side. He has the teleport. It will be up in about 20 seconds. And then the rest of his team, they can pressure that Baron, because if they get the Baron, they're going to win that objective. It is a 4v5, though. TF, he uses his ultimate if they decide to port in, but they don't necessarily want to right now, because they are concerned about that that teleport. So TF just using the ult just to check what's going on. They don't have vision of the Baron. He wanted to use it to make sure they're not doing that Baron quickly.
Yeah, and here comes the SOAS split push that you were talking about earlier, and this is not surprising at all. The split pushing capabilities of Jace, you know, pretty strong, to say the least. So he can split push a little bit and make Fnatic looks like they're just falling back just a bit, letting Jace do what he's going to do, and just playing really safe. And like you said, Cho'Gath can stall for a really long time. Yeah. He can sit back and just rupture and sit back and
he can
silence
clear all of the minion waves. I mean, he's a tanky body. Yeah, he can just stall forever.
Yeah, and we're seeing how fast they're clearing the waves, and the turret quickly turning onto Maokai, taking that rupture damage too. So just getting poked down while Jace just takes another turret. So things are looking really good for Fnatic right now. But at the other side, MYM a little bit worried about you know, their inhibitor.
They have to back off.
They have to back off.
That's 2 turrets down with no response. So 2 turrets down without being able to force a fight or get a kill or anything. So, you know, they can't allow SOAS to do that. SOAS is actually teleporting up to his team, and TF is now bot, and TF does not have his teleport. They're going to try and rush this Baron, and they're going to do it very quickly. Zyra has enough damage with her seedlings. They actually might be able to grab this before MYM can respond, but MYM is closing in quickly.
And here we go. We're going to see some magic happen. Sona trying to get out of there. XPK on York, just doing some damage, laying it down, trying to initiate. There's the twisted advance onto SOAS. SOAS able to knock him away. XPK getting burned down there on the bot. Jace goes down, and this actually might be MYM's fight here as Corki comes in, doing some damage. There's the TF ultimate coming in, laying it down, and oh my gosh, was that one-sided.
That was very one-sided. They just slowly wore them down, and now they get the Baron, and their inhibitor is up. And I think that MYM actually might turn this around. Like, this is such an absurd situation. Fnatic, they had the Nexus almost down. They tried to take it down with their minions there, and now all of a sudden MYM is winning, because you saw in that team fight, Fnatic, they were all grouped up and they were running into the jungle, so they were in a tight AoE, and Corki's AoE right into them, and Maokai as well.
Yeah.
Like, really did a lot of damage. And Yorick, he tried chasing off Sona and tried chasing off I think it was TF as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was TF to take them down. But then Sona and TF, they were able to use their chain CC to take him down and survive there. Reckles DC'd. Hopefully he's okay again. But MYM, you know, the AoE from Corki, how much damage Corki has is just so strong right now. And Fnatic, they have to get back to their slow kind of pushing game. And maybe they got a little bit excited there. You know, they saw people coming down for MYM. They knew that, you know, Jace had his teleport. They were like, oh, TF's bot. He doesn't have his ult yet. Great, let's go rush this Baron. But Ezreal actually wasn't with the group when they started, so they didn't have quite enough damage to take it down quickly, and they had to force the fight, and it didn't really work out for them.
Yeah, and we saw Yorick and Jace really committing to trying to kill Sona and trying to kill TF, and the mobility on TF, that's not going to happen, and Sona's not the strongest target to try to take down first. Really overextended himself trying to pursue and trying to take down Sona, and then again, they're out of position. He gold carded and then just ported to the other side, and now that Yorick and Jace completely out of the fight, and Corki's damage was able to just totally win it.
And I think the mobility on TF is the thing that has surprised Fnatic the most, because Jace left, he saw TF was on the bot side, and so he's like, okay, TF's bot, he has to walk all the way up to
5,
Baron.
is that your point?
But he has the move 5. Yes, that's exactly my point. He has the move 5s, and the move 5s plus the Lich Bane, he's able, without his teleport, he's able to run all the way from the bot, all the way up to the fight very quickly
that's
and
true.
Get into that fight.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. As you're smiling as you started talking, I was like, oh, he's right about something. We'll see what it is. And right, it was the Boots 5. I said that he was going to sell him for something else, but no, they have been working amazingly for him. The mobility, he was able to put pressure in bot, and they didn't expect him to get back that fast, back to the Baron area, and he was back pretty quick, and that really made the difference. And Reckles is just reconnecting here, guys. We're waiting just one quick second to hopefully his connection will stabilize a little bit. But yeah, SOAS and XPK were not in that fight, and they got burned down really quickly. And as a result, I mean, Corki was able to run rampant and do whatever Corki wanted, And
while we're waiting, I figure we can just go back and take a look at this fight because you see there's TF kind of jogging across. They're going for the Baron, and Ezreal coming in a little bit late. They try and force it down.
watch XPK. Watch how he goes after Sona. Look how hard he... Yep. And then there's the TF,
XPK,
yeah.
And that allows all of that damage from Corki coming in off the side. And, you know, Sona and TF, they're safe down there. But then Aurelia and everything, they're just so strong. They burst down Soaz almost immediately. That's a lot of damage missed. And still, just a lot of AoE damage from Corki. So it wears all of them down. They're able to chase them down. The TF poured in.
It wasn't even really the TF
nice
port
play
that made the difference. I mean,
yeah,
it was
that
really...
was just solidifying the kill.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really that, just the start of that fight and the positioning of Jace and of XPK. They just weren't in the right place, and it cost them a lot. And that's what that gold card locked him down, and Aurelia was able to get into damage. I mean, I think we've kind of forgotten about how fed Aurelia is, even though Aurelia 116 farm. That's not much at all, to be completely honest. And but it's those 6 kills that are really driving it home, and just winning these team fights being really tanky.
And Zaru able to take down that top turret as the game kind of readjusts itself. I'll just give it a second. But they will be able to group up now with that Baron buff. We'll see how they can stall off on Fnatic a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to go back because this is ridiculous. So
nice.
They will push up, and now that Rekkles is back in the game. So they have to be concerned, though, because MYM clearly won that last fight.
Yeah.
TF just barely porting out of there before Soaz can engage on him, so he's safe there. N-rated coming down the mid lane. And once we get out to standard. So right now, MYM, they have a really great team that can kite fairly effectively. They have a lot of AoE with the Sona, with the Corki. Maokai, protects their team a lot, so it's going to be difficult for Fnatic to force anything on them. And so now MYM's in the position where they can start to push back a little bit on Fnatic. They can maybe go up, take that exposed inhibitor, but they have to be careful because if they go for the exposed inhibitor, it could just turn into a base race. They need to make sure they have vision of Fnatic. If they don't have vision of Fnatic, then Fnatic could just decide to just rush down their mid inhibitor and their Nexus. And because the Nexus turrets are already down for Fnatic, they actually have an advantage in that setting. So they are going to push mid, but Fnatic does have a lot of pokes, so they want to take this opportunity. They want to just clear the waves with Corki, with Cho'Gath, and then just slowly wear them down.
Oh, there's the twisted advance, and just going down on Zyra.
Oh, and
Zyra
barely
ultimate.
able to get out, but he has to watch out. The TF stun almost coming in.
Yeah, the Zyra ultimates have not been as good as they could have been in this game. They're hitting 1 or maybe 2 champions at best. And look, they're just poking them down still, just trying to exchange some damage. MYM knows they have the Baron, they can stall them out, they can do some damage, they have that regen. So it's definitely in their favor to kind of just sit tight and poke them down, and hopefully can take this turret during this next minion wave.
And so it is this next minion wave. They should push it a little bit. I think once they get the cannon minion in particular, they're going to be able to grab some quick damage onto XPK. So Fnatic has to watch out. Like you said, because of that regen, they're at a situation where they're going to have to back shortly. But this next minion wave that comes up, it's going to have the cannon minion. That should be enough to take it down. The flash twisted advance, though, he's going in for it. Corki, Valkyrie's in. They try and pick up XPK. It's just not quite enough damage, and Corki doesn't have his escape now. Aurelia diving in, but Rekkles is able to force them out. They're completely split right now, so this is Fnatic's opportunity.
And there's the Sona ultimate going down, and here comes Aurelia still doing some damage. Maokai goes down, really bad positioning from MYM, just taking tons of turret damage. The turret is going to go down, but are they going to be able to make it out of here? Still putting some pressure down. XPK a little bit scared of TF with that gold card, with the wild card, can do some damage, can lock him down, allow other champions to come in and continue damage. I mean, the stun and then just the ranged poke from Corki is really strong at this point in the game. And they're just backing off, going to do some farming. Top lane's pretty fat right now with the farm.
Really kind of bad fight for MYM.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
able to get 1 turret, but really not the advantage they want to take. It's going to stall out for that Baron to disappear. So Fnatic, they've gotten rid of the entire Baron from MYM, so that's a nice advantage for them. But they really tried desperately to force a fight, but it was on XPK, who's already very tanky. They didn't have enough damage to take him down quickly. They had the AoE from Zyra and from Cho to try and turn it around. And then Aurelia was split, so because Aurelia was split, they're able to chase down Maokai a little bit more effectively. So because they had pushed up so aggressively past that turret, where they really didn't need to. MYM could have just taken down that turret safely and bullied them off of it, but they wanted to go for the kill. They wanted to just end the game.
Yeah, and looks like MYM just pushed up the mid here, getting back into a position. Oh, and they just jump on Ezreal, and that is a huge loss for Fnatic.
It's two inhibitors.
That could be the inhibitors. Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to lose 2 inhibitors with Ezreal down. That might be the game for Fnatic. Like, it's going to be almost impossible for them to deal with those inhibitors being down now. MYM, they need to keep their health high. They have to watch out for that Jace poke. Like, Jace and, you know, Cho and Zyra, if they can poke them down, if they can wear them down, that's like their last hope. But it's going to be another 20 seconds. They're going to try and drop it right here.
They're just putting some pressure on Fnatic. Very scared at this point. The turret's going to go down really quick. Fnatic needs to be real careful. They're going to get jumped on. Aurelia has that GA, can sacrifice herself a little bit to get in there and lock down some of the enemy champions. And they get the inhib, and they're just going to back out. I wouldn't be surprised to see them rotate to bot and go for that one too. But Ezreal being down was the difference there, getting caught out. And just really a shame that happened. It really put Fnatic behind a lot.
And rather than going for the second inhibitor, like you said, they need to deal with this bot wave that's pushing, because that could really hurt their base. But even more so, Baron is about to respawn, so they need to get back. They have a lot of gold to spend, so each of them, you know, has another significant item. So they need to let that 7k gold advantage work for itself, and that's Fnatic really falling behind at this point. So they can go back, get their items, and then they can, you know, press the Baron fight or press the inhibitor again. So there's honestly the threat that if MYM starts to push up this bot lane, if they get momentum on the bot lane, and they're going to, because having that inhibitor, all of these minions are slightly buffed. So, you know, they are going to be able to put some pressure there. Having the pressure that from the mid lane inhibitor, it's going to allow them to, they could actually decide to just base race against the Baron. They could say, okay, Fnatic, you can have the Baron.
Oh, and the ultimate. And here comes Corki with that armor shred. Maokai coming out from behind, trying to get something down. Twisted advance on the XPK. XPK going down pretty quick. The Zyra ultimate getting just Maokai, just one champion, again, coming from Zyra, forcing Fnatic to back. And it looks like XPK gets caught out. And Aurelia comes and meets him up top, trying to do some damage on to N-Rated. N-Rated goes down, so squishy. Soaz getting burned down as well. This could be the end of the game, folks.
Yeah, they're going to be able to push in fairly easily. The GA is up. There's 3 people down for Fnatic. They can poke them with the Ezreal, with the Cho'Gath, but they're going to be able to move in for another inhibitor. And then not only that, they have these super minions coming down the mid that will allow them to potentially take the Nexus. I don't actually think they're going to have enough time to take this Nexus, but that second inhibitor being down is going to be really dangerous, and they're going to come in. They're going to at least be able to take down one Nexus turret. It's going to be very difficult for Fnatic to defend. Zaru's pretty low. Aurelia almost has that GA popped, and Corki's going to tank it as they take down Cyanide. Rekkles is the only one left. There's the stun. He gets the Arcane Shift out of there, and TF is actually almost going to go down. The heal barely allows him to survive. They back off after one Nexus. XPK is trying to chase in if he can get the slow. This actually, it could be a Baron potentially for Fnatic. Actually, no, they won't be able to, because there's too many minions in their base. They need to just defend the minions. And so MYM, they back off. They're all very low, and Fnatic's in a dangerous spot right now. Oh, the teleport from Soaz. He's trying to force the fight. He's actually very close to being able to pick up Libic. I think he's going to be able to do it if he changes to that melee form, but just barely out of range. And it seems they are actually going to go for that Baron. So the concern is they have minions pushing at their base. So there's always the threat that, you know, TF could just end it. Or, that's just slowly going to beat them, but they're going to be able to take this down pretty quickly. TF is ulting. They're going to be able to pressure this Baron.
Cho'Gath is back at base, going to handle those minions, so it's going to give them a little bit more security as they take this Baron, but TF wildcards can do a lot of damage, and they get the Baron. This is actually putting Fnatic into a much better position. Again, MYM's Nexus turrets are down, so at any moment, just a strong push to mid could end this game. MYM has to be very careful as to where they are on the map, otherwise they could be in a serious problem and potentially lose.
So Fnatic, Cyanide holding off. He has the clear as Cho'Gath, so you know, he's able to get through those minions pretty effectively, and that Baron will allow them to stall pretty effectively. You know, it's just going to be about enough for them to hold off those inhibitors. I'm not sure that MYM can actually force in while there's going down, but we'll see. They might actually just decide to pressure up the top lane. They do grab that dragon. They can go back, get a couple more items, and just get ready for that kind of final showdown with Fnatic. You know, and try and take them down, but we'll see what Fnatic can do to try and hold it off.
Yeah, TF getting some more damage. Maokai's getting some defense, some armor, so really getting ready for this last push to try to end the game. It's going to be a little bit difficult. Fnatic does have Baron, so needs to be careful, man. You're going to get caught out. That would be bad in a 4v5 situation where Fnatic has Baron. But yeah, that Baron's going to allow them to stall, and it's going to put a lot of threat, a lot of pressure onto MYM. They're not going to be able to do what they want to do, which is push up and finish off this last tower and this last inhib so they can have just the full minion push, the final push right into the Nexus.
Yeah, but really both teams, I mean, it is very close. It's at the point in the game where both teams are getting pretty deep in their builds. Jace has a lot of poke damage. You know, he has that kind of complete Jace build where you're just, you know, leveling people. So we'll kind of see, you know, what Fnatic can do to hold this off. MYM, they're slowly wearing in. They want to make sure they get the push going in all the sides before they start pressuring the top, and they can just allow the minions to slowly win the game for themselves.
Yeah.
So they're in that kind of situation now. They have great kiting potential. They have, you know, nice poke with the TF. And Baron regen, I don't know that it's that big of an issue for them because they know they don't really want to fight. They want to allow the minions to push in anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. If we get in a position where there's tons of minions near the base, you can literally just run in and zerg down the Nexus. Just really quick. Don't even bother with the opponent champions. Just go and burn it down. And so, I mean, that's a real threat for Fnatic at this point. They have to be aware that that's possible. And so they have to be able to stick way out here, far away from the Nexus, to have lots of space to kite backwards as they go back into their base.
Mid inhibitors up though, but they have super minions coming down on it, so they have to watch out. The top turret, it's actually pretty low. The flash in, and trying to get it. The quick Valkyrie from Corki, he's able to get out of there. So Zyra, her ultimate is down. That's a serious disadvantage for Fnatic right now.
Yeah.
Jace is able to get some really nice poke, but they have to constantly go and defend the other lanes. And the top turret, it's not going to last forever. It's very close to going down. They do transition mid again, so a couple of them are mid. That gives Corki some free damage. The Rupture, he does back out of it. So there's fast Valkyries to get out of there. But it's slowly building up more and more pressure on Fnatic. You feel like it's just going to burst at any second now. That mid inhibitor, it is very low. A couple of members from Fnatic down there, and MYM, they just can't push in hard enough at this time.
Quite the little tug war that's going on here, where Fnatic is trying to clear the mid and the bot turret minions. I'm sorry, just the bot and mid minions, but at the same time trying to go back and prevent the tower from getting taken down. And they're doing a pretty good job. Looks like this inhib, almost snuck it. Zara has to get out of there. Pretty low life on TF. XPK getting caught out a little bit. Has that GA though, so not too big of an issue. Of course, we wouldn't want that to pop, but Sona going in and just trying to do some poke. Oh, looks like Zaro getting caught out with the feast, trying to, oh my gosh, he's going to make it out of there with the flash. Maokai, on the other hand, probably going to have some issues. And never mind, he's going to get out too, and Aurelia there to try to help a little bit. But that Baron buff really helping in this situation. They're not having to back. They're able to stay there and poke hard, especially Jace, king of the poke right now. He's behind the wall. He's playing safe, and he's able to sit back and do a lot of damage, preventing MYM from taking that turret.
Well, Fnatic was able to stall it off. They have two inhibitors back up. Their mid inhibitor is very low. They have to worry about the split push potentially from TF, but you know, Jace can counter that out some. And you saw, you know, Zaru trying to poke in, trying to get that inhibitor, and Fnatic just wearing him down. He just barely wasn't able to get it. He almost could have suicided for it. But then the concern is if he goes down, then Fnatic forces a fight on the rest of the team. You know, they pick up an ace and maybe turn something around. So, you know, MYM being very careful right now. They know they're winning by the thinnest of margins. They're just walking on, you know, shells right now. And they're trying to push in. They are going to come in for this mid inhibitor, and as all 5 of them, they should be able to take down both of these inhibitors. It's going to be very difficult for Fnatic to defend against this because it only is like 2 shots. It's Corki and TF.
Yeah.
But if both of them get a shot with those, you know, with the Lich Bane and with the Triforce, that's going to be able to take down that inhibitor.
Yeah, definitely. Baron buff is no longer there, so that advantage is gone for Fnatic, so they have to kind of sit and rely on their own abilities, their own damage to lay it down on MYM. MYM just kind of sitting tight, trying to poke down. TF throwing out those wild cards, has that gold card armed, see if he can get going. Throws it down on Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath taking some damage. And it looks like they're just going to sit tight, maybe back out a little bit.
Really low there. There's the Zhonya's avoiding that Rupture. The Twisted Advance going on to Cyanide. He's going to be low. Zyra on the other end uses the ultimate. There's the Ezreal. It actually misses. And Kuban, he's able to take down that Cho'Gath. This is the Cho'Gath goal now. XPK goes down as well. He's going to get that GA revive. And they pick him up very quickly. And TF is in a great situation. Same thing with Corki. Corki is overrunning them. Reckles, he has to do what he can, but it's just not enough. There's not enough damage to take out all these minions. It is a 5v2, and MYM will be able to push in. They should be able to grab this Nexus now. It would be just the most miracle of defenses for Fnatic to defend this. And so all the way from losing their Nexus, all the way back to pushing down Fnatic, MYM turns it around and wins. I cannot believe that they won that game, but it is a 2-1 series. Congratulations to MYM over Fnatic.
MYM, where the hell did you come from? You guys are looking way strong. Their early game, all 3 games, was phenomenal. And it was just that they weren't able to hold on to that lead in the second game. That was the big thing. They had it won.
Complete.
The circle is now complete. MYM is the winner.
Yep.
They're amazing, and they are moving on to face Eclipsia in the winners finals. Should be very interesting stuff.
Yeah, and we are actually going to have the winners finals shortly. So.
Yeah, we're coming right up right after this, guys. We're going to be doing Eclipsia versus MYM, so make sure you guys stick around. But yeah, that match, early advantage, some great TF play, that Maokai TF combination, that synergy, really strong ganks. And we're really able to use it pretty well. And then, of course, the Boots 5 on the mobility boots. Yeah, it worked out on TF.
Well for 'em.
It did work out well.
But really impressive play from MYM. They're able to take home that win. So Fnatic does go down, and it is double elimination. So Fnatic can still make it out of the losers bracket. But
Yeah.
I don't know that they really expected themselves to be in there, so quickly.
Yeah.
But really nice play from MYM. Once again, guys, this is IPL Royale.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy it. We're just trying to throw off, series or a nice little 1-week tournament for a bunch of EU teams. While the NA teams, we have the wild card qualifiers for IPL 5, which is going to be really exciting.
I think the big thing is that these teams aren't coming to IPL 5. And
Right.
we're all really sad about it, especially after I've seen MYM's performance. They look really strong. But yeah, just getting to see how the rest of the EU scene is looking. And I mean, they are really competitive. I can definitely tell, with the amount of competition in Europe and how good these teams are. MYM is not considered a top team in Europe, and we've seen how phenomenal their play is. Even the teams that aren't that good are still very strong, and it's no wonder that EU is one of the more dominant scenes in the world.
Well, there it is. Very impressive play by MYM. They, it is a really dominant kind of region. Once again, guys, IGN.com/IPL giveaways. Go check that out. We're giving away VIP tickets to IPL 5 if you're interested in coming, or if you already have a general admission. That's a really nice deal. So go check that out, and you can maybe win yourself one of those VIP tickets that are being given away. Then also Instagram. If you go to Instagram, just take whatever picture you want, and then hashtag IPL 5. We're going to be picking winners, and I think there's a raffle or something. I'm not exactly sure. I don't exactly remember what that prize is, but
we'll find out. It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
I think I heard it was pretty cool. I can't remember what it is, though. But definitely check that out, guys. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back. It is going to be the third match of this EU IPL Royale. It is going to be the winner's bracket. So Eclipsia versus MYM, and we all know how strong Eclipsia has been.
Oh, yeah. I'm really excited to see him play.
Honestly, I'm so fresh, right behind Diamond Prox.
He's so good. He's really
very good. They have a very similar play style as well.
Absolutely. Very aggressive stuff.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll be right back. Quick commercial break.